For the majority of the patients, the problem usually lies in instability across the medial column of the foot, or the inside of the foot. That's going to put excessive load across these structures. And the classic example is the fascia band right here. So as the foot pronates, or the arch drops, it puts excessive stress across this medial band. So most of the time, if I want to do an adjustment on a foot orthosis, all I really want to do is take that foot and twist it to the inside. By doing so, it's going to invert the rear foot and take the stress off the medial column of the foot. What that means is I'm going to utilize the top quality shape that this orthosis already has, but I'm only going to adjust a very small portion of that foot orthosis. And to do this, I'm going to use a high temperature heat gun, and I'm only going to spot heat the inside portion of that foot orthosis, leaving the rest of it rigid. You can see it only takes a few minutes for this to get very supple. To post it, I'm going to use my hand and I'm going to position the rear foot so it's inverted, and then use my other hand to bring the medial column of the foot down to the ground. And again, that will increase the arch height, take the stressing off the medial fascia band. It took about 30 seconds to a minute to heat this up, and it takes about that long to go ahead and reposition the medial column of the foot. So you can see it's set now. The rear foot is inverted, and the stress will be taken off the medial fascia band when the patient steps on it and ambulates. So after you invert the rear foot on this device and bring the forefoot back down to the ground, you can see what holds that position is the anterior medial edge of the shell, or this point right here. That is what's going to stop that device from collapsing into pronation again. So with the patient's foot on there, that's what's going to stop the movement from occurring. However, sometimes you can see, especially like this, if I get a large amount of gapping between the device and the shoe, it can actually create some instability with that. If that's the case, you can also add different extrinsic posts to that device, thereby supporting or occupying that gap. And this could be done either inside the shoe, or you could also attach it to the shell with adhesives or double-sided tape. Similarly, if you have patients that needed a metatarsal pad, what you can actually do is use your hand to create a metatarsal pad underneath there, or you can actually apply the metatarsal pad to the device and compress it on the table. And since it does heat up very quickly, I'll demonstrate that right here. So you can see how quickly that heated up. And so I can either use my hand to put the indentation into that device, or you could actually use a pad, place it underneath the device while it's still warm, and apply some pressure to the top of the device. Holding that for 30 seconds, it will hold that shape into the EXOS material. thereby creating an intrinsic metatarsal pad into the device. This material also is easily adjustable with a grinder, and material can be removed off it. There's no health risks to this, and it also accepts any contact adhesive that you're familiar working with in the orthotic and prosthetic industry.